The Horn Frog Podcast. Let's talk sports with Coach Dub. The Horn Frog Podcast. Good morning, gentlemen. This is Coach Dub coming to you live from downtown Fort Worth with your Horned Frog Podcast for week 2 and your offensive and defensive players of the week for the conferences. This episode of your Horned Frog Podcast is brought to you proudly by Texas Republic Whiskey. Saddle up. You've got some drinking to do. A spirit as bold and storied as Texas. Notes of rich oak and vanilla bean fading into dark cherry with a bold finish like a West Texas sunset. Barreled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Texas Republic Whiskey. Saddle up and get your bottle today. We're going to start in the ACC. Your offensive player of the week in the ACC. Louisville running back Vaughn Jefferson. 23 carries, 339 yards, 6 touchdowns, 14.7 yards per carry as Louisville blasts their FCS opponent 84-3. Your defensive player of the week in the ACC, Notre Dame defensive end Kevin Colley. 7 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks as the Fighting Irish hold Nebraska to only 124 rushing yards as they secure a 55-28 victory over the Huskers. Now let's jump over to the Big 12. Your offensive player of the week, TCU running back Lee the Jet Efall. 9 carries, 285 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 31.7 yards per carry. He also had 5 receptions for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a game for the Jet as he just gets started on his Heisman season. Defensive player of the week, TCU strong safety David Nkansa, 11 tackles and 1 interception as TCU rolls their FCS opponent to the tune of 73-21. Jumping over to the Big Ten, your offensive player of the week, Tennessee quarterback Terrell Smalls. He went 17-19 for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, completed 89% of his passes as the Vols wallop their FCS opponent 52-3. And your defensive player of the week for the Big Ten, USC linebacker Prince Best. He had 9 tackles, half a sack. He also had 2 pass breakups as UCS demands Baylor 56-17. And now let's jump over to the SEC. Your defensive player of the week in the SEC for week 2, Arkansas linebacker Bryce Cobb. He had 9 tackles and 2 interceptions as he had a breakout game versus Washington. And your SEC offensive player of the week, Arkansas running back Dalton Stephen. 13 carries, 285 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. He also had 21.9 yards per carry. He even had a reception for 8 yards. And the headline of the Razorback Gazette, Red Hogs Maul Washington 63-28. Followed by this question in all caps, is D-Step the new Jesus? Looks like the Fayetteville faithful are still looking to be saved. And only time will tell if D-Step is their new savior. That's all I've got for you for week 2, offensive and defensive players of the week. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Texas Republic Whiskey. Saddle up and get you a bottle today. This is Coach Dub signing off from Fort Worth. Until next time.